I'm Jessica Soho, and today I will show you my shelf. Actually, I don't believe in keeping a library or a shelf kasi I'd rather share them. Except of course yung mga autograph, syempre, sa akin yon. Pero I believe that books should be shared, should be communally read. Tuwan-tuwa ako dun sa isang weekend market sa Makati that has, I think, Legazpi. I hope they still have that project that you can go to that shelf and then you can get books that you want to read. Libre. Sana may ganun, no? Kasi aanhin mo yung mga books that are gathering dust in your library or in your bedroom. You should share.
What brought you into reading, and how did it change your life?
From elementary, I discovered the joy of reading very early on. We didn't have a lot of books. Pero somehow, I don't remember how I got hold of Perry Mason books. Earl Stanley Gardner yata yung author. Reading helped me survive the difficult stages of my childhood. Kasi my mom died when I was 8. I discovered that you can escape through books. You can escape to a world of your own. You read about characters and their own struggles. And somehow siguro that helped me. So reading was therapeutic. It was an escape. I discovered nung mga high school na, my classmates were into romance books. Mga panahon ng, syempre hindi nyo na naman alam yung mga Mills and Boons. There was, of course, Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. Hindi ko sila masyadong nagustuhan, yung mga light. Pero ginamit ko yon to practice speed reading. And then, they always got me as lectern sa mga misa in high school. Basta lagi nila akong pinagdadasal in both English and Ilocano. And I think because magaling akong magbasa sa tingin nila, hanggang ngayon, magaling din akong magbasa. Magaling akong mag-profile ng mga tao. When I interview people, mas nasasakyan ko yung mga interview subjects ko. I have that background of reading about, people, biographies. So, because I have that benefit or advantage, mas madali akong makarelate dun sa mga ini-interview ko. It's also, I think, a liability. Masyado akong empathic. When I was new, the newscasts were in English. So, alam mo yun, mas adept ka sa words. I think it's because of reading.
How would you describe your reading habits?
I'm a very eclectic reader. Wala akong special interest. When I went to Afghanistan, obsessed naman ako sa mga books on Afghanistan. Kasi I survived a landmine explosion in Afghanistan that almost cost us our lives. So, before I went to Afghanistan, I read up on Afghanistan, and then after, meron pa rin akong hangover ng Afghanistan. So, I have a couple of books on Afghanistan. I lament na these days I read mostly my iPad or my iPhone, newspapers, news, Facebook. Wala akong Facebook account pero magaling akong mag-stalk. Hindi ko sasabihin kung paano. Naiinis ako, nalulungkot ako na I don't have a lot of reading time now. Kasi you have to be in a certain mood to go out and do interviews and tape. Like today, I have to do another interview after this. I just did my spills. Yesterday, I was in Isabela province. Balikan na biyahe. Hindi madali. Ang gusto ko kasi, yung talagang wala akong gagawin. Siguro I have a week, then I will settle down, distress, then I will have time to really read and savor reading. That is a luxury these days. I wish I had a more boring or a more predictable schedule so I can read more. Otherwise, every day, I read on the run.
What's on your shelf?
I'm very proud to have a small collection of autographed books. So this one is by Hillary Clinton. She came to the Philippines many years ago, and I had the honor to meet her personally, and I asked her to autograph her book. I also have uh, autographed book by Lech Walesa. Pumunta rin siya sa Philippines many years ago to attend to journalists conference, and then I went to the bookstore and got the first book that I saw authored by him, and he autographed it for me. The late Anthony Bourdain. We were in an award ceremony together in New York. I knew that he was going to attend, so I made sure I brought my copy and he autographed. I have an autographed book also by Amy Tan because she also guested in my news program. And she was my favorite author. She had a series of books. The first ones were my favorite. So when she came to the Philippines, she guested in my program, and I had her books autographed by her. Cooking books na medyo hindi lang naman recipe like Anthony Bourdain. I have Ruth Reichel ba yun? She writes really good food books. Siyempre, meron din ako mga journalism books. This one is my favorite. I think every serious journalist should read this like a Bible. Kasi she was the publisher, owner of the Washington Post. You will read about history sa Amerika and how, journalism influenced it, vice versa, how American politics also influenced American journalism. So, nandito yung mga Watergate, how she survived the Watergate scandal. She was running it. She was running the Washington Post while things were happening in America. Ang ganda-ganda nitong basahin. Yung iba by Bob Woodward, they're the ones who exposed the Watergate scandal. Kasi yung Deep Throat, if you follow the Watergate scandal, ito yung source nila. So, hindi nila ina-identify nung una. Then came a time, ina-identify na siya. This one, hindi ko pa nababasa. Favorite singer ko kasi si Carly Simon eh. I read her first book. Meron pa pala siya about her friendship with Jackie Kent. Hindi ko pa nababasa. Nasa bedside ko. Thomas Friedman. Flex ko lang. Oy, nakiki-Gen Z, no? These are books written by people close to me. Written by Kelly Verhel de Dios. Just another book, hindi ko mahanap yung The Tales of the Alimagong ba yun? Hindi ko pa siya nasisimulan basahin. Sorry, Kelly. She's written 2 books, so I'm going to read it. And this one was written by my niece, anak ng pinsan ko sa Amerika. She's an upcoming film author who's writing books for young people, teens. This one was also written by a former colleague, si Attorney Dan de Padua. Maganda to. Ano lang niya, columns niya, writings niya, musings niya. Ayan. So, proud ako na I know some authors personally. Also by a colleague, kasama ko sa Defense Press Corps dati. Kasama ko nag-cover ng military and defense. Si Ben Cal, one of the reporters of PNA. So, ayan. He's written a couple of books din. One of the oldest, actually hindi, yung Perry Mason ang pinaka-old, pero hindi ko na mahanap. Ito, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Maalala, ito ba yung hindi sila natutulog? Yeah. Wala na yung mga cover niya. Usually, kasi pag nagpahiram ka ng libro, hindi nila binabalik eh. Ganun din ako, sorry sa mga hiniraman ko.
Which author from your shelf do you most wish you could write like?
Si Ruth Reichel. She was the food and restaurant reviewer of the New York Times for the longest time. Ang galing niya magsulat. Tapos nagdi-disguise siya. Kasi di ba pag syempre New York Times siya, so should be given the best tables, mga ganyan. Ayaw niya. To maintain her integrity, she would eat in these restaurants na naka-disguise.
Which books would you save in case of a fire?
Yung mga autograph, nasa safe yan eh. Sabi ko, balang araw, papa-auction ng mga pamangkin ko yan. Baka pan-tuition nila yan. Yun, so now you know.
Which book characters or authors would you like to have dinner with?
Well, there were the heydays of American journalism. So we sort of looked up to the journalism titans in the US. Barbara Walters, nilapitan ko pa minsan si Dan Rather. Sana na-meet ko si Ted Koppel. I know he came to the Philippines a couple of times but hindi ko siya na-meet. Pero ang kwento sa akin sa GMA newsroom namin na luma, during the Vietnam War, some of the American journalists would drop by the newsroom because they needed some material, mga ganon. And then sabi nila, nagpunta raw dun si Ted Koppel dati. So, ang talino kasing journalist nun eh. Kaso nowadays, parang journalism is facing an existential threat. Journalists are not, as it's sad to say, widely respected, especially in the US. Sa Philippines, okay pa kami. People still rely on us for news and information. Because of social media, everyone now gets their news personalized, kung ano yung gusto mo. You know, it has all become subjective and selective. But I wish we could go back to that time that journalists were respected, relied upon for vital news and information.
Any book recommendations?
I read ang Beth, and then bumili ako. Before I met him, meron ako mga books niya. Tapos nung na-meet ko na siya, may mga binigay siyang mga bagong book sa akin. I read the books of colleagues. Si Marites Vitug, she wrote about the biography of General Almonte. Interesado ako dahil si General Almonte I used to cover when I was covering the defense and the military beats. So, binasa ko yung libro ni Marites. Hindi local author si si Pacific Rim. This guy who wrote about Philippine basketball and how we're so crazy about it. Siyempre, binasa ko si Harry. Si Prince Harry. Kasi, ang juicy. I have that in my iPhone. Pero meron din akong nung hardbound. Bumili rin ako.
Any advice you'd like to share with young readers?
Consistent naman ako. Kahit nung bata pa lang ako na journalist, whenever I'm asked to speak to students and young people, lagi ko sinasabi, please read. Read, read, read. It's the best way to gain knowledge, to be proficient in the language, to know about life experiences that you're too young to experience. At least, di ba, alam nyo na, ganun pala yun. So you can prepare yourself for the bigger, more mean, more cruel world out there. At least yung mga characters, mga kontrabida sa buhay, nabasa nyo na sa mga libro. So you can brace yourselves. And you get to escape to any world that you can imagine. It's such a wonderful experience to dive into another person's life and soul and to know the character and with it the very rich textured imagination of the author. Iba yung experience. I don't think I will ever tire of reading. Mas marami ako actually libro na hindi pa nababasa. And I look forward to the day when I have, the luxury of more time.
How about adult readers?
May audiobooks na po. You don't have to, use your eyes pag malabo na kasi yung mata. Makinig ko kayo sa audiobooks. Hindi ko pa siya natatry. Pero nung binasa ko yung kay Harry, pakinggan ko nga rin. Magandang experience pala yung binabasa mo tapos naririnig mo rin siya. With the audio, na-feel mo rin yung emotions ng author. You'll never be alone. You will never be lonely. Kasi there's always someone speaking in your ear and stimulating your thoughts and your emotions. So, mas madali ho siguro ang aging process when you have books for company. Lagi ko nga sinasabi, I'm not afraid of growing old, especially with my books. Kasi alam ko hindi ako mabobore sa buhay. I will not die of boredom with books around. I will always find something else to do kasi marami akong librong kailangan basahin.